You just got back from seeing Bruce Springsteen.
I did.
How was that?
Oh my God. These guys, which are
Beautiful. So Pixie is holding
very
up.
classy. Before I'd be like,
Yeah.
now I'm like,
Hello and welcome to Homegrown Daisy. Today's guest is someone I have grown up adoring. One of the most well-connected, effortlessly cool London girl through and through. It's Pixie Geldof, everyone.
Hi.
Here she is. I honestly mean that because, we've already established we share the same birthday,
yes,
17th of September,
a rare one.
if anyone's wondering. In fact, this episode might be coming out. Oh my gosh,
Stop.
we should release this around our birthdays because it comes out in September.
Yeah, do that, please.
Okay.
Cute.
So if anyone wants to send gifts our way,
No,
we'll accept.
Just a reminder to anyone that forgets our birthdays.
Exactly.
They'll be like,
Yeah, exactly. But I
That
do
happens
feel
quite a
like
lot.
you're like one of the girls of my era that I just saw.
Thanks.
Yeah, I just grew up with.
yeah,
It's funny.
that's what I was about.
You
Kind of
were
just
all
about.
cool places, all the cool places, on old magazines, always looking great at Glastonbury. Did you go this year?
No, do you
Missed
know what?
it.
I haven't been since the one before COVID, 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember just being like, it got to like Saturday night and I was like, you know what? I'm quite ready to go home.
Yeah,
And after that, I was like, maybe I'm
done for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, they're having another year break soon, aren't they? They've
Is
got
it?
one-
Is it?
I think they've got one more, and then having a
I
break.
might go next year. It's the lineup. Now, the thing is,
Yeah.
I didn't really care about the lineup before.
Yeah.
And now I'm quite like, it has to be
Yeah,
the one I want.
yeah, because we're older. It's not all about the party now. It's
I
about the
can't. And
music.
also, even the crowds now, literally, I'm going to sound so boring, but even the crowds now, like, give me the fear a bit.
Yeah.
So, like, whereas before I'd be like,
Yeah.
now I'm like, it's they're very different feelings. So, so I think, I don't know.
I get that.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those who are listening, I thought it'd be nice to set the scene of what we're wearing because we are like a fashion and jewelry podcast. So, Pixie, talk us through a quick summary of what you're wearing.
I'm wearing a black shirt, which I love because even though, to be honest, it always gets really mucky looking really quickly, it does like a crossover.
I like it,
which
yeah.
I enjoy.
Yeah.
That's how it buttons up a bit weird, but it does get linty. And then these are vintage Levi's, and then I'm a big flip-flop
Oh, it's the summer.
fan in the summer, and that's it.
Some big chunky
And
pearl
then
earrings.
Big chunky pearl earrings and lots of bits and bobs.
Loads of rings.
Always loads of things.
And the shrimps
And
necklace.
Thought you'd
Shout
never
out shrimps.
ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, there she is.
Gorgeous. And I'm wearing some jeans from Reformation that I always seem to wear and sort of a florally chiffon thing that's making me hot from Mango. And some big chunky gold earrings. 'Cause
We
love
love
a big chunky
Reformation
gold. Yeah.
jeans. They're very good.
So Pixie, you've brought in your most significant piece of jewellery.
I have.
Some of which I'm sure, I was really excited about this one because I feel that you've got loads of great jewellery.
I have a lot.
And loads
It
of great
is-
stories, fun stories behind them. So I'm excited to dive into those. And then Pixie's also going to choose your all-time favourite Daisy piece where people can shop that at a discount for a limited time only. So you're going to reveal that at the end, even though we already know what it is because we've been talking about how great it is.
Yeah.
So you just got back from seeing Bruce Springsteen.
I did.
How was that?
Oh my God.
So good.
It was so
Was
much
it?
fun. It was like, I love Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
I'd seen him before at Glastonbury, in fact.
Okay.
And like, that was like 15 years ago, which is so weird. But two of my best mates are like big time fans.
Yeah.
And so they were like, we have to go. And I was like, I guess so. And so we went, and it was like, he plays for 3 hours.
Wow, he
And it
still
turns
got it.
out I only know 6 Bruce Springsteen
Okay.
songs, and he only played 2 of those. So I was like, oh, but the vibe was so
Was it?
like, it was, yeah, it's so much fun. I was
Yeah.
calling it the world's biggest dive bar because it was just like, we were just like having beer and like
Yeah.
listening to Bruce Springsteen. You're like, that's the one. And it was so good that like literally for the first 2 hours, I like didn't, I think I knew them enough to be like, I think, but it was
Yeah.
like, didn't matter.
Yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah.
is hard at a concert. Like sometimes, you go to a gig and it's like, this isn't it was like, it didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't
I was
matter
just,
'cause
like,
the vibe was
buzzing
all
on
there.
the vibe. It was so much
Yeah.
fun.
What do they call him? The boss.
The boss.
Why is that?
And they do
We
this
know-
thing, which I didn't know about, where everyone at the end of songs goes, Bruce. But when 80,000 people do that, it sounds like they're booing. And at first I was like, are you booing the boss? What's happening? And then eventually my friend turned to the person next to us and was like, why is everyone booing? And he was like, they're not. It's like the most famous thing about Bruce Springsteen. And we were like, got it.
Yeah.
But it was the best. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
And he's
I
still
bet.
got it. Like,
Yeah?
big time. He's like, I don't know how old, but he's
pretty
smashed it.
old.
Yeah,
He's
smashing
pretty
it. And the
old.
band's incredible. And you're just like, it's great.
Where was it?
At Wembley. And I had just seen Errors there like 2 weeks before. So I was like, do I live at Wembley now? And I'm happy to.
You're a Swiftie.
I am new.
I think
No.
I'm not. I wouldn't go as far as saying I'm a Swiftie.
Yeah, no.
We've had multiple conversations here, but I am new to this.
Yeah.
I think she's a great role model for young
Lovely stuff,
kids.
yeah.
And
I think she's very, I don't think I had heard a lot of the songs until recently.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, like I'd heard 1989 and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
which still isn't for me.
yeah.
Don't come for me.
Are you a bit more of a TTPD?
I'm a folklore Evermore girly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
So then two of my very good friends are like hardcore Swifties, and we were watching The Summer I Turned Pretty. I don't know if you watched that teen drama, but she was like, you can't understand how sad this scene is because you've never heard Exile. And I was like, well, right. So then they sent me on a journey. It was actually quite crazy, but we did it.
Wow.
I like a sort of project.
Yeah.
And this was last summer, and they were like, we're going to give you the albums to listen to, and we want
Nice.
you to do like reviews after each album. They did it in a certain order. I made a playlist at the end of each like listen of which songs resonated, and it was just like fun and silly. And then
Yeah.
by the end I was like fully in, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
I think that's the thing. Like the whole thing, it just looked so fun, and that like camaraderie and everyone getting dressed up, and it's just so nice. Yeah.
And like we left, and like the tube is, like I said, I'm not a big fan of crowds, and I was a bit panicked about like the tube on the way home, and even the walk to the tube. And it's like everyone's just like singing
Yeah.
and like had a nice time. Like I got like 15 friendship bracelets on the tube on the way home, even though we stopped underground for 5 minutes, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Still lovely.
Yeah.
Like we love a Swiftie.
Yeah.
So I basically met my first agent, shout out to Sarah Leon, when I was 15 at my friend's 16th birthday party, and she was a model, and I met Sarah, and she was like, do you want to come in, chat? She was a lovely woman and just brilliant. And I was just like, sure, why not? And I went, and then it took me a while to start booking things, but I started booking a few bits here and there. And then it was just like, I quite enjoyed it. I love photography. And I got a shoot with with Stephen Meisel was like, and I was like, and I was like studying him because I was taking photography
Nice.
and all these things. And I just basically got quite into that side of it, like that I got to go and like travel and meet these people that I had literally like written essays about.
Yeah.
And I was like
Bonkers.
having to pretend I hadn't done that and been like,
Yeah, it's pretty
lovely to
super
meet
cool.
you.
Yeah.
I'm cool about this. But it was really fun, and that wasn't always like the thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to write music. And so I started doing that.
Nice. So you
basically, and
write music as well. Do you play anything?
I play guitar. Yeah.
Nice.
Not well.
Okay.
Enough to like write the song, and then I pass that
Pass it
over
on.
to someone
Someone
better
else.
than me at
Yeah.
that.
Amazing.
But and so I was in a band, and then we stopped doing that, and I went and did my own thing and made a record, which was like 2016. And then that was like a funny experience. So then I
Really?
just sort of was like,
Well, just the music industry.
it's not for me.
Yeah. Sure.
Like, no, it was fun, and I loved working and making the record so much, and like it was like this culmination of 10 years of songwriting, and that's like
Yeah.
a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. It really was.
And a nice way to tie it up, I guess. Like,
Yeah, and it was like still like, I think it's one of those things where I think I learned so much from how I would like to do things in the future, and it's just like a lot of stuff about how music works that actually you don't think about when you're just like, I just want to write nice songs and sing, and actually it's a business and not very romantic. And I was like 20 and very romantic and just
Yeah.
kind of being like, what?
Yeah.
It just didn't,
Yeah.
it didn't mesh
Yeah,
for me,
for
I think,
sure.
like mentally.
Yeah.
So then I took a little break for 8 years from that. But hopefully soon again, I'll start
You're
writing
launched-
again.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Watch this space.
Watch this space.
Nice.
Done differently, but
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like it's nice now as well, because I've watched from when like that, like self-releasing wasn't as much of an option.
Yeah.
Then like it wasn't, I mean, some of this is over a decade ago when there was no Spotify, there was no
Yeah,
iTunes,
sure.
all those things that now are sort of, I have a complicated relationship with in my head where I'm like, you should pay for music, but then I'm also like, what an amazing avenue that
Sure,
is
yeah.
for people who don't want to sign deals or can't sign deals or whatever it is. So I think it's quite cool. It's a very different
Amazing.
world now
Yeah,
to when I was
definitely.
first doing it.
Back in your day.
Back in my day. Oh my God, but fully back in my day.
So you are, like I said, born and bred London girl.
Sure.
And you are renovating a place.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a great thing to be doing, or is the most stressful thing in the world?
It's truly the most stressful thing in the entire world.
How far are we on the
We're like
renovation
a
train?
month out now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
Amazing.
So that full thing of like grand designs where they're like, it's going to take 9 months. And the guy's like, is it? And they're like, 6 years later.
Oh,
That's
God,
what
yeah.
happens.
So
Like,
how
don't be
are we
fooled.
talking like full on everything needed doing?
We bought a place that was on a really lovely street in East London, but it was like,
Yeah.
you know,
Needed everything
needed and we didn't realize quite how much it needed doing. But so at one point it literally had just like 3 walls,
Oh my God.
like the outside ones, not even the back one. I walked in at one point, there was just no wall at the back. I was like,
Okay.
so quite an alarming project it turned out to be, but we are there.
Yes.
And nearly, but now I'm like just panicked about curtains all the time. I like dream about curtains and like,
Well, because that's the last thing you need
well,
to get.
what number one?
Yeah.
Because they cost so much bloody money.
cost so-
They're
this is so
insane.
much. It's
They're
big.
insane.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like thinking about that all the time. And then I procrastinate on it because of that. And then I also realize that I am supposed to have these curtains by October.
Yes.
And there's not enough time.
Do you know what I call it? I call it creatively procrastinating.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Yep.
Because you're just kind of just taking it, something else is going to come to you, and then you're going to have your Virgo light bulb moment, and it's all going to slot in.
I
You
did
go,
have a
"Thank God
good
I didn't
like
rush into anything."
eBay moment the other day where I was like, all of this stuff is on, like all the fabrics that I want are probably on eBay. And then I had a real good deep dive on there because I've been
Yeah.
kind of like fluffing about with these sort of fancy shops and then just realized that that's not my vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Also,
just
I really tried to make it like this really sophisticated house where it's like everything's calm and stuff like that. And then like slowly but surely my personality comes out. It just like will not be held down. And now everything looks insane. And that's fine.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
too. We tried.
Yes. Okay, so have you got any favourite spots in London? So you're East London. Any favourite spots, favourite wine bar in East London or cafe?
There's a place called P. Franco in Clapton, which is a great little...
Like,
No! No.
I was there on Saturday.
Oh my God, it's so good. I love
Food is
it.
also good then. Do you ever eat there?
Yeah, it's yummy. I love just like a little nibble. And then I love how first time I went in, I was like, I don't know about wine, anything. And they were like, what do you want? And I was like, literally the thing that looks the most like Ribena. Because I know that I like wine to be really light. So I was like, little Ribena.
Yeah.
And they like smashed it so hard. And now I
Nice.
just like
so then you just go back and get
go
that
there.
same one.
And
yeah.
then I love, there's a place called Cadet, similar vibe on Newington Green. And then my favorite little cafe is probably Lizzie's on the Green in Newington Green.
Nice.
Lizzie's a friend of mine as well. So that's nice.
Yeah.
But it's also truly
Great.
yummy and
Yeah.
great. Best vegan sausage roll in London.
Nice.
Yeah.
You
So
heard
if
it
you're
here
looking
first.
for that,
Yeah.
that's where to get it.
Great.
But yeah,
So you're a mum now.
sure I am.
How has becoming a mum changed the way you approach life, or has it changed? Do you feel like it's changed you?
Yeah.
it's
No,
kind
I
of a
mean,
stupid
like, oh
question
my
because
God.
it massively does. Doesn't
Yeah,
it?
I'm just like, there is such a stark difference between myself 3 years ago and myself
Yeah.
one day later, which
Yeah.
is the craziest thing. But in like the best possible way, but also in like it's wild. You just like no one sort of speaks about that section of it. So that was quite like the learning thing for me. Like that was probably like one of the most complicated parts of becoming a mom, I think, was the sort of revelation that there's a different sort of person inhabiting my mind now.
Definitely.
And it's not just like me, it's also my baby, and it's wild, but I love it.
I read somewhere that it like can take, so it's like your hormone, it can take like 2 to 3 years for your hormones to like level out, but it can take a mother like 5-6 years to start feeling fully like themselves again?
I believe it. I think it's like you start settling it. Also, I have been like full time with him. I don't like my husband's with us a lot, and he works from home, and you know, all that. So it's not like I'm like by myself, and I've been so lucky to be able to be fully there.
Yeah.
But it's also like it means that these little things that I took for granted, you know, when is like you start now. We're in this, you know, there's less sort of like mum guilt about leaving and all those things, but like for a long time I was like, you know, didn't even like going to the supermarket and things like that. I was like, oh my god, you know, and that probably sounds crazy, I don't know.
No,
but,
not at all.
yeah.
I can remember the first time I left my daughter for the first time, and just like I literally drove to the supermarket down the road. I was like,
wow,
is this liberating? Am I terrified? I'm not sure.
And you do sort of settle in after a few minutes, or like maybe, you know, whatever, but it's still that thing of like realizing that you don't ever leave the house again really without this little it's you know, I can't like the best thing that's like truly the best thing that's ever happened in this, like, but it feels crazy because you're just like I'm so in love, and then you're just like what is this? It's nice.
I feel like I have like become a much more, and I think this is a comment, a much more confident version of myself.
Sure.
And it's almost instant when I had my first child, because it's like I don't care what anyone else thinks of me now. I literally only care about you, and it's just like that, like not completely. I'm not like
no, sure, but there's a sort of a knowing of yourself that kind of comes with it.
And it's almost like that. It's just the selflessness that comes with it. Before I was wrapped up in my own head, and now I'm not wrapped up in my own head. I'm wrapped up in making sure that you're okay.
Yeah,
it's that.
Yeah, it's like more out. Like there's an outwardness now. Yeah. I feel that. I feel like my big thing, I think, with for my experience in motherhood has been like this kind of rest. It's not a restful experience, but a restfulness for my mind, where I think I never felt fully like I was where I was supposed to be in my life. Like I always was going, okay, like what's happening next, and where will I go next? Because I've never had like a sort of consistent in work or in my adulthood and stuff. So I was always a bit like, am I missing the thing I'm meant to be doing? Like, should I be? Like, I'm obsessed with the sea, and in my head I was kind of like, wait, why do I live in a city? Should I be living somewhere else where I'm able to be in the ocean or whatever? Like these constant little things that I would think about. And as soon as my baby was born, I knew I was exactly where I was supposed to be, and I felt that every day since, where I know where I am, which has been very like calming for me. I didn't know that would be a thing that happened, and that was kind of like, I think probably my biggest thing that's happened for me is just like a sort of
they are your constant,
and just knowing that I'm like doing exactly what I'm meant to be doing and doing as much as I can do, and like there's no like pressure on. I don't feel that pressure to be like bigger and better and doing more, and it's like I'm quite busy. Everything else is very much sort of like can wait, and that's been a lovely like peace, I think, for me.
Definitely.
Which has been nice.
I love that. So, okay, coming back to jewellery, we met last year with Hannah Whalen, founder of Shrimps, who I know you're a big fan of. Actually, close friends.
Yeah,
you're very close friends.
Yeah.
Can you remember the first piece of Daisy that you loved the most?
This guy.
It was that.
This guy.
The horseshoe.
I love him.
So Pixie's wearing from the first drop, it's the horseshoe charm necklace. And it's just so cute, isn't it? With the green enamel.
And I love the little green enamel. I love like enamel bits. And then also, not this one, but the
jewellery case.
Jewellery case, yeah.
Which we'll have is a like photo popping up at that point.
It's like, that's one of the things I'm very excited when I move into the house eventually
to find its
one
place.
day is like to put that somewhere really cute, because right now it's on a shelf and it's just like not in my home, you know. Can't wait to like display, because I don't have anything, like everything's kind of box. I live very much in a box right now, so it's like everything. That's exciting.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, before we dive into your significant pieces, I ask this question to everyone. What is it about jewellery that you think makes it so important to people?
I think it's the sort of everlastingness. That is not a word.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, the everlastingness of it, the way that it is something that can feel so personal, but also so like, I don't know, like you can pass it on to people. You can like, I don't know, I'm like quite addicted to like vintage jewelry, and I love like just thinking about when someone got it and what they lived their life in. There's something particular about jewelry over clothing that kind of really resonates with me as like a lifelong trinket.
How nice would that be? Like if you buy a piece of vintage jewelry and it's like was owned by, and
Oh,
like reading their
I
bio.
wish. That's like, although kind of a little bit creepy, but I kind of love it. I wish for that. But like sometimes you do, you know, like even just like, I kind of always want to know whether or not the person sort of like sold it to the person I'm buying from, or if they were like, if it was brought in by a family member, you know, you never know, but all those little things. But I love, there's always a story behind jewelry, and there's something so specifically personal to why someone picks a piece of jewelry as well. Like, why do you like this? Why do I like, you know, this silly necklace? Like, what is it that it is? And it's so personal. Yeah. Okay. In a way that like kind of clothes. I love clothes, don't get me wrong, but that's why I like specifically do love
And I
jewelry.
think I was talking about this with someone else, is that like I feel like your taste in clothes, the collective you, can like change a little bit.
Totally.
But jewelry kind of
No, my taste in jewelry has remained
really
silly.
Yeah.
Like my whole life. So it's
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, shall we dive into your significant
Please.
pieces? Where would you like to start?
Should we start head to toe?
Head to toe.
Let's go with this guy.
So describe what you were holding there.
This is a hair, I guess a hair wand is what you would call it.
Okay, yeah.
It's for like, you twizzle your hair into like a bun with it, and they're kind of like deeply 90s.
Yes.
As like
I remember always doing it with a pencil at school.
Totally.
Be like,
And I thought I was so
pulling
cool
your
if I
hair
had
out.
my hair in a pencil. I was like, that's right, I'm just a girl on the go.
Yeah.
Didn't have time for a hair tie, simply a pencil. And this is from my favorite store in Los Angeles, which is one of my favorite places. And it's a place called Spellbound Sky, and it's a crystal shop. And yeah, I got it, and it's just like one of those things. Number one, it looks like a steak. I am a Buffy and the Vampire Slayer fanatic, and in my mind, I'm like, fuck, if a vampire came at me,
You've got it.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
And one of the tragedies of cutting my hair is that this no longer plays a role in my life, but it will.
It's now just a weapon.
Slowly
it's just
growing
a weapon
my
in your
hair.
handbag.
No, exactly. Now it's just in case of vampire, but also for the crystal vibes.
Yeah.
So
what crystal is that one?
that's just a clear quartz, which is, you know, good for energy clearing and things like that. But
okay, one more piece.
Okay, one more piece. These guys, which are
Beautiful. So Pixie is holding
very
up
classy pieces.
two pink pearl beaded necklaces with 2 hearts hanging off them.
Yeah.
With little pictures in them.
Yeah, they're kind of they're like lockets, I suppose, but they're open.
Yeah.
And they have like a sort of jelly hard surface, which I also love because it makes it look like one of those trinkets you'd get in like Smash Hits or something when you were a kid. But one of them has a photo from my wedding in it, and one of them has a photo of my beloved dog, Buster Smith.
Oh my God, it's so...
in all his glory.
They're so cute. Do you wear them together or do you wear them separately?
I tend to wear them separately, and it's one of those ones where like I always kind of laugh to myself, being like, just like really taking it seriously, the choice of which one I'm going to pick that day, be like, But I will say I land on Buster quite a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, because why wouldn't you want that bloody face on your neck?
That is
Look
cute.
at him.
You should have bought...
And his ears fit perfectly in the heart.
Exactly.
I can't handle him.
And where did you get these from? How long have you had them?
I've had these a long time. Well, I would have got them after I got married, and that was 2017. I think I probably got them in 2017, just after. I love them. I love a little sort of like... But this is the kind of thing in my head, this will end up in a vintage store one day.
Yes.
And someone will be like, whose dog was that?
Well, this is where
beautiful and perfect.
you need to, when you ever donate it somewhere, you need to write a little note.
I know.
So
I should
this-
engrave it.
And all
A
about...
most beloved hound.
Exactly. Yeah, get it engraved.
Oh my God.
It's a great idea.
I love an engraving.
Yeah.
I love anything engraved.
We do free engraving, so if you ever want anything.
Thank you. I want everything engraved.
Everything.
I'm a real sucker for a monogram or an engraving, like a personalization is like top of my list.
Oh, well, on that note, should I just show you your personalised jewellery box?
No, I'm thrilled though.
PG?
I love it.
It's cute, isn't it?
I love it. Can you do these on all of them?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
so nice.
It's good, isn't it?
No, I love.
That's for you to take home with you.
Thank you very much. Oh my God, with my bits and bobs in it. The only problem is this does not fit anywhere.
In
this
anything.
The steak.
Yeah. Where do you want to go to next?
We can go to this dolphin. This is like a chain. It's actually quite like, I don't know. It's quite. I like this necklace because the chain is kind of. It's not very delicate.
Yeah, it's a Figaro chain, which is kind of like, that's what it's called.
Okay.
Figaro chain, which is there's something quite masculine about it, isn't it?
And then, but it's got a silver dolphin on it.
Yeah.
And it was made by my very good friend Jordan Askill, who makes absolutely beautiful jewelry, but he is also a marine biologist. So he kind of...
That's very cool.
I know. He's my dream.
Yeah.
And so he made... he's one of my husband's best friends. And he made this...
the little heart.
Gold heart, which was the first thing that my husband ever gave me. And then subsequently I have now collected...
Lots of hearts.
Thousands of these heart rings that he makes, and I'm obsessed with them. But yeah, I love like his connection to the ocean, and also like the fact that whenever I speak to him, he's Australian. I will not do the accent, but he's like,
go on, make us laugh.
I'm just out doing some like releasing some seahorses, and I'm like, oh, like he's always doing these like absolutely lovely like dream things.
What a
in
catch.
between. No, I know, and like in between making some of the most beautiful like intricate jewelry
Amazing.
ever. Like he makes these like absolutely crazy sculptures and beautiful things. So I think he's a genius, but I love anything that reminds me of being in water.
Yeah, what's the water connection?
I don't know. It's like, but it's been there forever. When I was about 6 or 7, my dad gave me a National Geographic VHS, because this is 1997, about sharks. And I was like, what? And I still have it. I still have the VHS at his, and like it just like unlocked something in my, it's like a core memory, that video. And I was just like, oh, these are like my spirit creatures. And it's been a love affair.
Oh, I love that.
So now I just like to go places where I can
just get in the
see
sea.
them.
Yeah.
But much to everyone's annoyance, because I'm always like, we're gonna go and jump off a boat and see this shark, and everyone's like, we don't want to do that at all.
Yeah, it's good. There's not many people I know that want to jump.
That was
in
my honeymoon. We went to do that.
Wow.
And like poor George, but he was actually happy to do it. But I don't think he realized, because we'd swum with like whale sharks and a few other things like that, where it was like they're very gentle beings and things like that. And then he thought we were going like cage diving. We weren't. It was not a cage situation. And so
we were just
out in the middle of the sea. And there was lots of them, and it was so great. And
making me hot thinking
but it was we went actually, because there's this woman, Ocean Ramsey. Have you ever seen her? She's, I mean, great name for what she does, but she's a shark person. I don't know.
Specialist?
Shark specialist, sure.
Yeah.
And you probably have seen a photo of her. She's like, there's this quite famous photo of a woman swimming over a great white shark.
Yes.
Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Kind of controversially as well, touching him, but anyway, that's her. And she has a shark diving company in Hawaii where she lives. And I was like, we got to go there. We got to see her. We didn't meet her, but we went with that company and went out. And sometimes tiger sharks turn up, which I was hoping for, but it didn't happen.
Oh
but we got some good big ones. It was great. But there's something very calming about it. And I have no idea what it is, because I know that's crazy. And I don't know, but I love it. I find like, and I'm not an adrenaline person. Like, you will not catch me jumping out of a plane or any of that nonsense. But I will absolutely jump into any body of water where there's a shark, and that feels crazy. But I love them. Yeah.
I love that.
There's something about like, we were like swimming with them, and you're just kind of like, I think it's like they're like very graceful and it's very quiet. I don't know. There's something.
They're just doing their thing.
Every now and then coming a bit too close, but that's fine.
When they do come, you go a bit like that, or you just still calm.
That was the last time we went, I think. And like, that was like, there was a lot of sort of like, you swim like with your arms tucked in like this. And there was like a few times we were just kind of like, fucking hell, get out of the way. But you're just supposed to eye them out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is quite fun.
Yeah.
Just
Do it at the camera.
staring
Go
at
on. Do it at the camera.
one of these at Galapagos Shark, giving it the big one. But yeah, it's fun.
Amazing. How did we get on? Because we had the
Sorry. I digress.
Okay, next piece, which these guys I've been eyeing up.
These are truly my favorite thing on planet Earth, I think. They're so silly.
Can you
I
describe
have lost
them
the backs of them. These are, I don't know what that overlay thing would be, but they're basically hand-painted earrings. One earring is in the shape of a cactus and rock with a dangling cowboy boot with a cowboy holding a gun on them and plastic gems. And the other one has, I think this is meant
That's like
a bull.
like an animal skull or something, isn't it?
Skull of an animal, and below him dangling as a star with gems, and a man holding a gem with a cowboy hat on. So
I would love to know if people are completely imagining that.
I'm desperate to know what you think is going on here. But
they're so big, they're so colourful. So it's like there's like a sheet of metal, isn't it?
Thin. Yeah, it's a sheet of metal that was
painted and then with some resin on top with some colourful gems.
And I got these again in LA in a flea market, and it was one of those ones where I was like staring at them, and it's like when you're in a flea market, your mind is like everything should be 20p, and they weren't. They were like $15 or something, and I was like, that's lunacy, how dare you. And I nearly didn't buy them, and it's like all I thought about walking around the market was these earrings. So I eventually went back and got them.
Thank
God, because imagine, I have done that before where I've been like, I'm not going to get that, and I think about it.
I remember reading something like nothing haunts us more than that piece of vintage thing, or that vintage thing we never bought.
No, I don't. I still think about this t-shirt.
And you've lost some backs. We can give you some backs.
Lost. Thank you.
Sure,
that would be really kind. But no, they're just like my favorite thing, and because they really, my favorite genre of music ever is country music, and I find it very inspiring.
I love the fact that you could probably, I bet you do, is like going to a wedding and wearing like a nice dress and just like pop those on.
Yeah, like they're very like, yeah, it's a black sort of strappy dress at a wedding, exactly. And like that's what my favorite thing with jewelry is. Like I have quite simple style, I think, now as I've gotten older, and definitely the thing that like jazzes it up is like a silly old cowboy earring. Yeah, and I love that.
Yes.
So
okay, so that was
them so they fill me with like a joy that I can't explain. Nice. It's so dumb.
It's not dumb at all. I think that's so good. And again, it's just that like playful memory.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It really, like, I remember buying them. It was like sunny. I do love LA, and like I know that it's got like not everyone loves it, but I love it.
I've never been to LA.
It's great. It's so much fun, and it's just like sunny all the time.
I could do
and
it.
You're just like walking around. The vintage is insane. The food is fantastic. So it's just like I really just like, yeah. I used to always one of my best friends used to live there for like 10 years. So I would go out every April for her birthday, and we would just fluff about buying silly earrings. It was great.
Okay, your final piece.
Final piece,
which you're wearing, I believe.
I am. Is this charm bracelet?
Gorgeous.
Which my lovely husband gave me for Christmas this year because I have wanted one forever. I dream of being that person that goes on trips and like gets a charm. I do it with magnets.
Yeah, I was going to say magnets. Yeah.
Doesn't quite hit the same way though, does it? So they live on my boiler. But so he put in a little sort of Irish charm because Irish, and a pixie charm, a heart charm because he loves me.
Yeah.
And then a charm for our baby and a cowboy boot because country music. Forever.
Yeah, perfect.
So it's very sweet. I really appreciate it. I didn't think he would do the charms, and it was so cute what he kind of picked out to be like representative of who I am. I was like, that's so sweet.
So that was Christmas present this year.
That was Christmas this year, yeah.
That's so good. He did really well.
He did so well. He does very well, I will say. He's like a real, like, he also got me this horseshoe bracelet, which is also a vintage thing. He's just got very beautiful taste but he's definitely got like a simpler taste to me. And not simpler is like the wrong word, but like he's
pared back,
relatively elegant, and I am not. And so he kind of, any part of me that has any elegance comes from him, I think, which is nice.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
They're all brilliant pieces. My favorite piece, they've got to be the big earrings.
They're really great.
They're
love
brilliant.
them.
Let's talk about fashion.
Please.
How would you describe your personal style?
I think I am drawn to ease. I'm relatively messy. I find it quite hard to look clean. I am clean. I absolutely promise you. But I like, there are some people, do you ever look at people and you're like, wow, it looks like you're lit from within? I'm not one of those. So I always feel like I don't know, I'm like a bit like messy. But then as I've gotten older, I'm definitely like more drawn to like simple silhouettes and simple things. Like I used to be and I still sort of, if I was to like dress myself with my eyes closed, I would still kind of always look the same as I have, I think, my whole life. I'm like very much kind of in that sort of like grunge region of style, I suppose. But as I'm getting older, I'm more drawn to like 90s minimalism, I suppose.
Yeah.
Whereas like before I was like 90s messy.
Yeah, sure.
I think like that's been my like growth.
Yes.
Unfortunately still. This outfit was a good example, really, is like on some people, this probably would look quite slick. On me, it doesn't. But it's just a black shirt and grey jeans.
You're being very hard on yourself.
No, but
I do know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? There's like there are some people that just like, even when they're like hungover, look quite chic.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm just not one of
either.
those people. Never will be. And it took me quite a long time to realize that I'm not. And I tried. I think I really spent a lot of my 20s being like, I can be like,
must look chic when I'm hungover.
yeah, like chic and womanly. And it turns out that I'm just like, not at all. And that's not how I feel comfortable. And that's absolutely fine. So I embrace the mess, but I strive for the sort of, basically I've just realized that if I buy more minimalistic things that I feel more comfortable, because I don't feel like as messy, but I also like, I can feel more grown up in my mess. And
then it can all work together.
Yes.
That way. That makes perfect sense.
I will say I'm not messy at home. It's just my personal being.
Yeah,
just
I get that.
Scruffy.
So how do you think your style has evolved over the years?
I think it's like I've gone from sort of like teen grunge to sort of like, what if grunge grew up a bit? I guess
slightly more grown up grunge.
Just like slightly more, but like it's not. I don't know. It's just.
I get it. But then you like putting on. What did you go to with Hannah? The summer ball.
The serpentine.
Yeah,
or the Molly Goddard dress.
Yeah,
but like that's so much fun. Like like I was just like, oh, it's like a little grungy Barbie.
Yeah, sure.
And it's great. I love like, but I do like dressing up. But still, it's never quite right. There's something about it. And I love that.
Yeah.
Like now I can embrace that. I remember when I was younger being like, why don't I look, you know?
Yeah.
And it just isn't in me. I stand like that. Like my entire being does not exude this sort of like effortless chic lady. I'm not that, and that's wonderful for me.
You're
works perfectly.
bloody brilliant. What role does jewelry play in your styling?
I think for sure, I guess I said it a little bit before, of like, I think my day-to-day clothes are like, I'm a jeans and t-shirt gal, and I think that's how I express myself a bit more, is like through jewelry layering and I love jewelry in the same way that I love like a shoe as well. Like shoes have always been a thing for me, where it's like I don't have that impressive of a wardrobe in terms of like, it's a lot of jeans, but I have fantastic shoes because I'm always like, if I'm going out for dinner, it's like I love just being in like a black jumper, a dark jean, a funky shoe, and a good earring.
Yeah,
and that to me is like very easy, and I think very chic. But
I do.
It does not appear that way. But if you put it on someone else, it would look it. So yeah, I think like it's the thing that I use. It's like my tool of like my full styling tool is jewelry.
Nice.
It's the thing that makes my outfit whatever I want it to be. Whereas like literally most of the time I think I'm wearing jeans and t-shirt, and it's just like,
and you just mix.
But you'd be like, oh, it's like the park jeans and t-shirt, or it's the dinner one, but it's the same outfit. It's just got a different earring to it, and I love that.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. What is your earliest jewelry memory?
The heart of the ocean. for sure.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Really? Watching Titanic?
Yeah, I was just turned 7 when Titanic came out.
Oh my God.
And bloody hell
old.
did that hit me where it hurts. I was like, oh my God. And check. And there was this store on the King's Road, still there, called Ad Hoc. Fantastic shop. And they sell like costume jewelry and stuff like that. I remember going in and they had a ring of the Heart of the Ocean. And I truly was like, no one's ever like, wow, we've stumbled across something. Guys, we should get it. And I think I got it for my next birthday and I still have it. And I still wear it. And so probably that ring was like the first time I was ever like, this is important to me.
Yeah, I love
and
that.
Yeah, I love it.
Amazing.
The Heart of the Ocean, like
The Ocean Has Your Heart. It's
Yeah.
perfect. Can you, we're talking about fashion again, can you share any fashion disasters from over the year? Can you look back?
Yes, like everything I've ever worn, as I've said. I was thinking about
really,
this.
like, any things where you think like, why did I ever think that was a good thing to wear?
No, truly everything.
really
everything I'd say pre like 2019. But and then I got locked away in COVID,
Sure,
so
I
it
was
didn't
gonna
matter. I'd say like a lot of my festival looks have been quite questionable in terms of like actual practicalities.
Sure.
There's literally, when you say like an insane thing I've worn, like the flashing image that comes into my mind is once at Glastonbury I wore just like a full body leotardy thing.
Of course, terrible to get out of.
What was I thinking?
you
And I
didn't
wore
think.
it all day, and it was a mud year, and no one wants to be undressing in one of those loos ever. You want to be in and out of
touching
that.
the floor
no,
as
you don't want
well.
to be near it.
Oh,
And so
crikey.
I did that, and that was a bad choice.
But did you look good?
No.
Okay, no.
There's not even that saving grace. It wasn't worth it at all. And then I don't know. I used to do like I said, as I've grown, I think like the messiness of my style has become more just sort of like scruffy and just like a bit like looking unkempt. At one point, the messiness was because of like mass layering and mass amounts of things. So I'll see photos like where I'm wearing like a baby doll dress and some tights and some boots with some leg warmers and a jacket and a beanie and a scarf and some big earrings. And it's like everything's happening at once and it's every print ever. And I love her and I embrace her.
Yes.
But I'm glad to have grown
That's in the past.
a bit. But I really believe in like, and I think it's really hard now. I don't know. I'm not a teenager anymore. Shockingly. But like for kids now with social media is like, you're so sort of challenged on your personal style constantly. And that wasn't really a thing when I was younger. It was just kind of like you got maybe a little bit mocked at school if you looked a bit silly, but there wasn't much else to it. And I'm just kind of like, I really believe in having like a bad phase. And like, as long as that, like my hair has been in like a pretty rough phase for 20 years and I'm like so down for it. I love that I can tell you what year it was looking at what my hair was.
And marker moments.
I know, I love that. Like I saw a photo the other day and I was like, oh, that was just before my 18th birthday because that's when I cut that fucking mental fringe in. Like all these things. And I think it's so part of your self-discovery to like mess up with clothes and like experiment with looking like kind of as bad as you possibly can.
Do it.
Just to see which way's up.
Yeah.
Like, I
I love
know.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, talking about trends, is there a trend circling back round that you were not expecting? I'm talking...
Are you talking low-rise jeans, for
Yeah.
example? Yeah.
Yeah.
No one saw it coming. No one wanted it. I've got to say, I'm quite into them again.
Are you?
I can't wear them. They're not for me. But I like now. I don't really remember ever thinking about it when I was a kid because Britney Spears was like, I love her.
Of course.
And obviously the queen of like,
Low-rise jeans.
it's, I mean, inexplicable
Her and
what her
Christina.
jeans. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the zip was, I'd say, half an inch. It's ridiculous. But so I don't think it ever, I never really thought about it. And then when they were coming, I started seeing people wearing them. I was like, huh, interesting. But now I'm looking at photos of like me. I saw a photo of Misha Barton the other day from like 2006 or something.
Great, yeah.
And I was like, look great. Everyone, do you know what? If you can do it, I love it. Go for it.
But also the I bet you rocked a few of those
the
headbands.
caps.
No, the headbands.
Oh my God,
That
of
did they just sat
course.
there?
Yeah, and they just burned into your forehead with that pain. Oh my God, the torture. But I feel like this thing with trends as well is very much like, again, back in the day, you didn't feel the pressure to like partake in a trend. I feel like it was just like, because of, I guess, like shops like Topshop and things like that, they were ever present trends, but you could still sort of maneuver your way around them. Now I feel like it's like people are like panicking because low-rise jeans are in fashion. It's like, who cares? Just don't wear them. I don't know. It's really like this odd thing of people being like, why are we doing this? It's like, we're not. You don't have to. It's fine. But I love them. If you can
pull them off.
If you can pull them off.
Rock them.
Yeah, like.
Bloody rock them.
Absolutely.
Okay, so finishing up, what's next for Pixie?
Things.
You're going to start writing again?
I'm hoping to start writing again.
Renovation.
I have started writing again.
Oh, nice.
But like whether or not I do anything with that. God, the house, one day I'll move in there.
You're going to get those bloody curtains.
Going to get some curtains eventually. No, I've got a few things sort of going, but I'm, like I said, sort of in my little, I'm quite slow. I quite like to be slow now. So everything's kind of day by day and project by project.
Yeah, nice.
And I like to get very excited about things. So I'm, tiptoeing around stuff.
Amazing.
But yeah, continuous growth is what's next.
Yeah, love that.
So annoying.
And before we end, we are going to donate £100 to a charity of your choice. What charity is that going to be?
I want to donate to Save the Children.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lastly, can you choose your favourite Daisy piece?
Yes, easy. Off the top of my head is the shrimps.
We've got it.
Yes. Look at that. That's checkerboard greens.
Open it up.
Come on. Look at it. That's a good green. My bedroom used to be that colour.
Did it?
That's
it's such a good green. Okay, so for a limited time, you can shop the Shrimps Daisy jewellery case as modelled by Pixie.
Thank you.
At 20% off, and there'll be a discount code in the show notes.
That could be a cute bag too. No. Don't take your fashion advice. Yeah.
That's amazing. Pixie, thank you so much.
Thank you
it's
so
been brilliant.
much.
Bravo.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to Homegrown Daisy. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts and follow us on Instagram so you don't miss a thing.